Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I want to start with thanking those of you who have left such a nice comments yesterday under my video. I'm very grateful that you are still enjoying the videos and you're happy that I was back from my vacation, so thank you for that. And now let's jump straight to the news that I have chosen for you today. We will start with an interview that Sergei Lavrov, the best diplomat in the world, let's face it, let's be honest, that's the fact. He gave an interview, let me see the name of the station on CBS. We're gonna watch this entire interview. It has the subtitles in English, and I think it's important to take a listen to it. Then we will go to President Trump, addressing his conversation with Zelensky, and if the subject of Crimea has been mentioned and what was the response. And then I want to go to France, to Marine Le Pen, and what she has said. I believe that was yesterday. She gave a speech in Paris, and I'm gonna play a part of that speech for you. And we will end the video with something of a light nature, just to lighten up the energy. A little bit a joke, but maybe not so much. You will decide. So let's go straight to the interview that Sergei Lavrov has given. I think this is the first interview with the American foreign media as far as that type since the special military operation has started. I might be wrong, but I don't recall any, except of course interview with Tucker Carlson, but he's independent now, as I believe. So let me mute myself. Let's take a listen to that very informative and, as always, straight to the point interview with Sergei Lavrov.
I want to ask you about what happened in Kyiv. There was a large Russian attack on that capital city about 1 o'clock in the morning. President Trump has said publicly the Russian strikes are not necessary and very bad timing. Vladimir, stop, was his quote. What made it worth killing civilians when Ukraine says it's ready for a ceasefire?
We only target military goals or civilian sites used by the military. President Putin expressed this for so many times, and this is not different this time as well. We never consciously target civilian sites, unlike the Zelensky regime.
So was this an intentional attack then, not a mistake?
If this was a target used by the Ukrainian military, the Ministry of Defense, the commanders in the field have the right to attack them.
So just to be clear, when the President of the United States says, Vladimir, stop, is this a rejection of that request? Was the assessment that because of what you say regarding the concerns that this loss of civilian life made it worth it?
Well, I can assure you that the target attacked was not something absolutely civilian like a TV center in Belgrade in 1999. This was an intentional attack against civilian target. In our case, we only target those sites which are used by the military. And regarding the ceasefire and regarding the call to stop, President Putin immediately supported President Trump's proposal a few weeks ago to establish a 30-day ceasefire, provided we do not repeat mistakes of the last 10 years, when deals were signed and then Ukraine would violate those deals with the support and with encouragement from Biden administration and from European countries. This was the fate of the deal of February 2014. Then this was the fate of the Minsk agreements, and this was the fate of the deal reached on the basis of Ukrainian proposals in Istanbul in April 2022. So President Putin said, ceasefire, yes, but we want the guarantees that the ceasefire would not be used again to beef up Ukrainian military, and that the supplies of arms should stop.
Ukraine accepted on March 11th that idea of a U.S. brokered ceasefire without preconditions. You're saying the preconditions are a negotiation to end something else?
No, it is not a precondition. It is the lessons learned after at least 3 times. The deals similar to the one which we are discussing now were broken
But
by
Russia has not
the
accepted
Ukrainian
that call for a
regime with the
ceasefire.
strong support from European capitals and Biden administration. If you want a ceasefire just to continue supply arms to Ukraine, so what is your purpose?
Right.
You know what Kaja Kallas and what's his name, Mark Rutte said about the ceasefire
The NATO
and the
Secretary General
settlement.
and the European Union.
They bluntly stated that they can support only the deal which at the end of the day will make Ukraine stronger, would make Ukraine a victor. So if this is the purpose of the ceasefire, I don't think this is what President Trump wants. This is what Europeans, together with Zelensky, want to make out of President Trump's initiative.
Will Russia continue targeting Kyiv despite President Trump saying, Vladimir, stop?
You're not listening to me. We will continue to target the sites used by the military of Ukraine, by some mercenaries from foreign countries, and by instructors whom the Europeans officially sent to help target Russian civilian sites. If you take a look at the situation in the Kursk region of Russia, for example, there is no single military target for the last 6 months which the Ukrainians would fire at. And there was also a proposal by President Trump, immediately supported by President Putin, to have a 1 month moratorium on the attacks on energy infrastructure. We never violated this commitment of President Putin, and Ukrainians violated what Zelensky seemed to support several hundred times. And I sent to Marco Rubio and to the United Nations the list of those attacks. It's really very, very telling and eloquent.
I have a lot of admiration for him to even, I don't know why he agreed to this interview, to have interview with that kind of journalist. I'm not a journalist myself, but it's not easy to have someone like herself asking the question, and she is either completely brainwashed, or I think she is. She's brainwashed and she's disrespectful, because when you have a chance and a privilege to have a conversation with Sergei Lavrov, you just listen. You don't interrupt, and then you ask the question. But I'm not perfect myself as far as asking questions, so maybe I shouldn't comment. So that's what Sergei Lavrov has said, repeating the same again, as we all know. However, I was quite surprised to see that interview. I will attach the link down below in the description box. Now let's go to another very quick Q&A that President Trump has given to the journalists yesterday as he was flying from, I think, Florida to the White House, back to the White House. And this is about Crimea and his conversation with Zelensky. So let's take a listen. This will be very quick.
Did President Zelensky talk to you about Crimea?
Well, he did, very briefly, but Crimea was given away by Barack Hussein Obama and by Biden. That's 11 or 12 years ago. That's a long time ago. I don't know how you can bring up Crimea, because that's been a long time. Nobody brought it up for 12 years, and now they bring it up now. So I told them, you can maybe go back to Obama, ask him why they gave it up. They gave it up without a shot being fired, by the way.
What do you want Vladimir Putin to do?
Well, I want him to stop shooting, sit down, and sign a deal. and we have the confines of a deal, I believe, and I want him to sign it and be done with it and just go back to life.
What punitive action are you considering taking against?
So you didn't hear the question was, did you talk to President Zelensky about Crimea? And that was Trump's answer. Oh my goodness. I think all of us, we kind of either don't look at this anymore, or we just, when we look at it, we want to see it done. And we see how much longer it will take. I hope not that much longer, because it's just, besides the aspect that more people are still dying, we have to put up with this kind of ping pong game all over again. Let's go to Marine Le Pen. As many of you know, not long time ago, let me go back to this article, she was punished. The court kills Le Pen politically. This was the title on the Polish article. But what I want to focus is this: the leader of the National Rally, Marine Le Pen, has been deprived of the right to stand for election for 5 years. Therefore, she will not be able to take part in the fight for the Élysée Palace in 2027. And this is the criminal court in Paris that has ruled that. Of course, Macron and other schmucks are to blame for it, and the globalists and the reptiles and all of that. However, I think there might be a turnaround in the future. Let me play this video with just a part of her speech that she has given yesterday in Paris. And before I do that, I know I have a number of French viewers, or some of you have not just lived in France, you have lived in France and you're quite aware of the French politics. Please leave the comments down below, your thoughts on this. How do you see Marine Le Pen, and do you see her somehow turning the situation around with help of the French citizens? And let's take a listen to what she had to say. I will just play part of it and attach the entire speech down below in the description box.
Your support, your messages, your endorsements. They warm our hearts. They are for us. They are for me, of course. One more reason not to give up. And let everyone be reassured, I will not give up. Like you, we share a profound horror of injustice and bias. We can only comprehend one another. You, the people of France, who endure daily your share of denigration, contempt, and injustice, exposed to all forms of social and physical insecurity, mistreated in your own country, denied in your culture and in your identity. Yet you remain unyielding and convinced that discouragement and submission are not an option, that the fight must be waged. What unites us, my friends, is the love of France, is love for our people, but also the vision we have of what is true and just. This is the meaning of our commitment, the soul of our struggle. Everything that shapes our convictions, forges our determination, and drives our actions. Like you, my friends, we are among those who do not give in, who do not bow down, who do not surrender.
This is your brain when you're struggling to focus. And this is your brain when you're in the zone. But getting
Since my earliest years, I have known the hardships of politics. I know its constraints and its injustices. I know its brutality and even its violence. I know the wounds, but I do not know abandonment. I know the suffering it brings, but I do not know despair. I know the insult, but I do not know surrender. As opponents, we learned very early that the legal battles that could be waged against us were an integral part of the political fight. On the long road that leads to responsibility, we have had to endure so many lies, so many slanders, so many cowardly attacks, so many unjust trials that we had to outwit. Many would have given up in our place, but we are still here, and very much here. In all European countries, my dear friends, the leaders of nationalist parties are being prosecuted, like our friend Matteo Salvini recently, for refusing to allow illegal migrants to dock in his country. Inconvenient candidates are banned from running, as in Romania. And many others are victims of state-sponsored smear campaigns without any legal recourse. Like you, like all the activists, officials, and elected representatives of our movement. I've never had to fight for myself, not for benefits or honors. What is our personal fate worth compared to the cause we defend? What is our personal comfort worth when it is the very existence of France at stake? You know, in politics, and especially in the opposition, the crowns are made more of thorns than of laurels. Nevertheless, we hold politics in the highest regard because there is no activity more noble, more focused on others and on the public good than politics. The debate of ideas, the fair confrontation of viewpoints, and the uniting of energies in the pursuit of the common good. That is why political activism feels so natural to us, so admirable. Like the many members and elected officials from all parties, we see political commitment as a kind of calling, a secular calling, but one that requires many sacrifices. This political engagement appears to us in today's France and Europe as an absolute imperative. When the country is collapsing and losing its sovereignty, when the people are suffering, when the collective future seems uncertain, then engagement is not just a necessity, it is a duty. I still believe that politics is not what some people want it to be, a perverse game of
Politics, as she said, it's not an easy road to take, but it's not a necessity, it's a duty. I don't know too much about Marine Le Pen. I know some, and I have a sense that she's not going to give up in this fight. How this fight will end, we will see. But definitely France needs a lot of work to be done with the man who is put into this position of destroying it day by day, right? As we all know, Macron. Very, very troubled creature. So that's all I have for you today, but there is one more interesting, funny video I came across on Instagram, and I decided to share it with you to have some laughter and some perspective. This is about Russia, actually, to be precise, about the Russian flag. So let's look at it.
Russia, upside down Russia, chessboard Russia, Christian Russia, Russia with a mountain at night, Russia but you're colorblind, remixed Russia, sideways Russia, recursive Russia with a sky full of stars. Russia, upside down Russia, chessboard Russia, Christian Russia, Russia with a mountain at night, Russia but you're colorblind, remixed Russia, sideways Russia, recursive Russia with a sky full of stars.
Pretty funny, isn't it? So, yes, Russia with the mountain at night. That was Romanian flag, I believe. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for leaving the comments down below, especially those of you who live in France. Let me know what you think with the future of France. I still have hope. I still believe in people there, even though I know the number of illegal migrants is enormous. But we should never lose hope, and we should definitely trust that there is some divine power that at the end of the day helps us all. Thank you for watching, for hitting thumbs up, liking, sharing, subscribing. If you want to find the links, just scroll down below the video. And if you choose to support my work, that means a lot to me. You can become the member of my channel or join me on Patreon or Locals as well. Lots of love, and remember, we are the leading edge and we are saving humanity, and I see you in another video. Bye everyone.